Hello and welcome to Two Chicks and a Horror Flick. I am Felicia Connor.
And I'm Tawny Ray.
And tonight we are talking about the horror comedy Creepshow. And we're talking about the 1982 version of Creepshow. So I'm really excited to get to. I'm gonna say that every single episode because the thing that I'm most excited about is talking to Tawny and recording this podcast. So every episode I'm saying I'm really excited. But before we begin, Tawny Ray, what are you drinking?
I am glad you asked, Felicia, because today I am drinking more whiskey, but I got a bottle of that Buffalo Trace that your husband suggested to me, and it is very fucking good. I'm so impressed. And Jade really likes it too. So it's nice because it's strong. Like, we joked about like the strong whiskey. I picked this up and I looked at it. It was 90 proof. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't need another one of these. But it's good. It's got a mellow taste, even though it's very strong. So I'm a fan.
Oh,
I'm an instant fan of Buffalo Trace. You'll have to tell him.
I will tell him. I love Buffalo Trace too. That's awesome.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a big cold glass of water in my our tech glass thing. It's not glass, but you know what I'm saying. And a martini.
Precarious martini.
A precarious dirty martini with 5 blue cheese stuffed olives and Svenska vodka.
5 today. Did you run out of olives? Is that what happened?
Oh no, I have a whole jar.
Okay. All right.
I only did 5 because I felt that was more reasonable.
That was
than 6.
Okay. Okay.
And something else for you, my best, most horrific friend. Check out my shirt.
Oh, okay. We got a Sanderson Sisters shirt. It says "I smell children." For those of you listening and not watching, I am stoked about that shirt, and I need to tell you that I also ordered shirts that I'm excited to unveil, but they're not here yet. So
I can't wait to see.
And
later. Tawny, if you missed it in the last episode, she loves Hocus Pocus, and I happen to know that she watched it recently as well. And when my daughter saw my shirt, she's being able to read now. She's able to read more because she's 6, and so she tries to read everything, which is fun. And this one was hard because smell is cursive.
Yeah.
But she said I, and once I got smell, and she sounded out children, and she's like, I smell children, and then she went, oh, what? And I'm like, these witches eat children. She's like, oh my gosh. It was cute.
Cute. Ooh, so be on the lookout for my shirts later.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see your shirts.
What else?
All right.
Oh, I wanted to say, I have started watching the series Monsterland. Have you seen any of these yet?
No, I haven't. You know, it's so flippin' hard in my house because nobody would mind if I watched horror stuff all day, but I have my 6-year-old like by me all the time.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult, but she's going to school. She's going back to school next week. So maybe during the day I'll watch some scary stuff. Tell me about this Monsterland.
Okay, I will do no spoilers for anybody, but I will say that I've only watched 2 episodes so far, and you should know that it's a anthology series, but that means that each episode, like sometimes the anthology series are like self-contained seasons. These are self-contained episodes. Like
each every episode's a story? A new story? Oh.
And they seem to be unrelated to each other, and I think that's probably the way it's going to go all throughout the season. But I'm pretty impressed so far. Like, I've only seen the first 2, and it's very it's really like kind of deep and fleshed out. Like, it's like as I was going to sleep last night, I had this like thought that I was like, oh my god, it's like the spooky version of Black Mirror. Like, that's how it feels. Like, it's like super fleshed out. There are these really great characters, and there just happens to be something sort of scary happening also in these episodes. So like, I highly recommend it. Check it out. I haven't seen beyond that, so I can't speak to the rest of it, but I like what I'm seeing so far. So if you like that kind of stuff, I think you'll enjoy it. And the description didn't seem very appealing, but I check it out. That's all I'm saying.
Nice. All right. The only different thing that I had seen outside of everything that we watch is Castle Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I probably mentioned this already.
I don't think so,
No,
actually.
just okay. I posted on our social media. I like it. The one thing I don't like about it, which isn't its fault, is that we have the version of Hulu that we got in a package where we got Disney and some sports channel, and it's the one with commercials.
Oh.
So I don't really go to Hulu that much because I can't stand commercials. But I really liked it so far. I'm curious. I'm intrigued to see what's going on. But I guess not so intrigued that I will sit through commercials. So we'll see.
Right. Are you watching the first season or the second?
The first, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. I started it from the very beginning
Okay, yeah.
with the guy that goes back to his hometown and
Yeah.
the
Okay.
prisoner that they find that. Yeah.
We can talk more about that later.
Okay.
When you've finished it.
Okay, we'll talk more. All right, should we dive in?
Let's dive in.
Okay, because I do got a lot of good stuff. All
Okay.
right, we are talking about Creepshow, and Creepshow is a horror comedy, 1982. When I first went into watching this Creepshow movie, I did not know that it was a horror comedy, and I was happy to find out that it was when I looked it up. Okay. The summary of Creepshow is one sentence because. Okay, so I'll just tell you that first. And it's Creepshow is an anthology which tells 5 terrifying tales inspired by the EC horror comics of the 1950s. I also wrote recaps of each 5 or summaries of each 5 stories. So I did that too, that we could talk about when we go through the stories. But that's the overall summary of it. It was directed by George A. Romero. He is known as the father of zombie films. He did the Night of the Living Dead series. He also did The Crazies and Dark Half and Monkey Shines. I do have to say, because I've said it before, I was absolutely upset with Dark Half because that's my favorite Stephen King book, and I was so excited for the movie. I was so excited I could cry, and I saw it and I cried because in unhappiness. But maybe it'd be different now. You never know. This was also written by Stephen King. George and Stephen are really good friends and always wanted to collaborate together on a project, so this is their project. The budget was $8 million, and in the box office it did $21 million. So that's really damn good. Everything, these are just like little stats. Everything was filmed in Pittsburgh. It says it's Romero's tradition. And I couldn't find much else about that, but I guess he likes filming in Pittsburgh. So it was important. There was a lot about it. Don't worry, I'm not going to tell you every place in Pittsburgh that these things were filmed, but they had it. On Rotten Tomatoes. Should I? Yeah, I can tell you. No, should I tell you the Rotten Tomatoes and the average rate? Okay, Rotten Tomatoes, it was 73%. And the rating overall is 6.4 out of 10.
I just want to say that earlier when I was like, oh no, that's sad that you hated that movie, it sounded like I was like being condescending, but I was not. I did not mean that in like a
Tawny's a bitch. No,
I didn't mean it in like
awesome.
a boohoo. I meant like that's really sad. That's awful that you were so excited about it.
You're funny.
I just needed to clarify.
I so don't see you as a condescending snot that I didn't even hear it that way.
Okay.
You're like the coolest woman ever. So everything you say just comes out that way.
I'm so glad. I think sometimes I just get worried that it's misread, you know? Like, so I think sometimes I say things with such with such enthusiasm actually that people read it as sarcasm, and it's like, nah, I'm not.
Aw, poor baby.
Exactly.
No. Yeah. That would have been really weird too, and out of place.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Why is Tawny being such a jerk?
That's mean. I would not do it. I just wanted to cover my bases, that's all. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
All right, so before we get into everything, or actually diving right into everything, Tawny, you go first. What did you think about this movie?
Okay, I'm going to give you an overall, because it sounds like we're going to kind of move through the stories as we go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, everyone. I did not love this. It was okay. I will say overall, it seemed like the people who made it had fun making it, right? Like there was a definite sense of like Oh my gosh, they put their heart and their soul into this, and it was fun, and it like matched what they were going for. Like they definitely like hit that like comic booky, right? Like I don't know what the right word is, uh but it's like fun, right? Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it did what it set out to do with like match that vibe. But I just was kind of fucking bored through like most of it. And it also was cool. Let me also just say it was really cool to see so many people. Like, you know, I think it's just like really cool to see all of these horror people. And our friend in our Facebook group, Angelica, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, by the way, also let me know if that's wrong, Angelica. But she had mentioned like there are it's so cool to see all of those people come together. So I didn't know beforehand, but it is Tom Savini, Romero, and Stephen King all in the same place, and like so
Yeah.
that part's really cool. It's like it just feels like a part of history in a way that
Yeah.
all of these people came together to make this. So I liked that about it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we're totally on the same page. Um, I really I really liked I even have my overall likes. I really liked the comic book idea, and I actually liked the animated portions of it. I liked those
Me too.
transitions from that to the animated. That was really cool. I liked that. And actually that comic book was, let me tell you this, that comic book that was the real one in there was, okay, let me rewind. That comic book that was in there, the prop, the 10-cent Creepshow comic book, was drawn and inked by veteran artist Jack Kamen, who is one of the artists for the original EC crime and horror comics of the 1950s. So that's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
I really loved those transitions, and I was really trying to also be open to the fact that, you know, it's an older movie, so like the graphics, right? And so um I and maybe because I was a little bored at times, that 2 hours was just a really long time. It was
Yeah.
120 minutes long. I felt like that was really long. But there were some cool stuff too, I feel. So maybe we just go into, you want to go into each of the scenes, what we liked, what we didn't like?
The things. Yeah, let's just jump in there.
Yeah, let's just jump in there. Um, First, some more little movie facts. This is a cult horror classic. And Bravo awarded it the 99th spot on the 100 scariest movie moments. And it won that for the cockroaches bursting out of Upson Pratt's body. That was pretty gross, I have
It
to
was
say.
pretty
It was,
gross.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Scary. Debatable for me
this,
personally.
yeah. This movie was adapted into a comic book after.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's really cool. And yeah, I'll wait on some of the other ones. So the very beginning, let's talk about, well, first, the it talks about the EC horror comics of the 1950s, and examples of those are Tales from the Crypt, which, if you heard the episode before, I thought that that's what this was. The Vault of Horror, the Haunt of Fear, sorry, and the 5 different little parts of the movie are Father's Day. And these, I apologize to anybody who really know actors. The notable
Yeah.
actors of each of these I wrote down were the ones that I recognized. So if I missed someone, you're like, are you kidding me? It had so and so in it, and I don't mention that, I apologize. But the first one was Father's Day, and I immediately, obviously, Ed Harris.
Ed Harris.
Ed
I was also
Harris.
like, yes. Oh my god. That guy, I mean, obviously he looks different now, but like he looks pretty fucking similar. It looks like that guy aged like not as much time has passed.
Yeah,
You know what I
I
mean? Like I was just like,
totally
damn,
agree.
he looks great.
Ed Harris. The next one is The Lonesome Death of Jody Verrill, and obviously Stephen King starred in that one. So young, it was so great. It was so cool to see these like young actors. Something to Tide Over You. The lead guy, the bad guy, the one that his wife cheated on,
What the hell has he been in? Keep going. Sorry, I
Leslie
interrupted you.
Nielsen, you probably know from Airplane. I mean, he's also been in Naked Gun. That whole Naked Gun series.
I mean, I did not.
Airplane?
Nope.
Okay, so he's like usually a really funny comedic actor.
I must recognize him from clips of Airplane. Like I've never
You
actually watched
must.
Airplane, but
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, I think I mentioned the two top most notable things he's been in, unless there's something else, but
Okay.
those are the two. I mean, maybe there's something I'm not even thinking about, of course. Ted Danson, which
Love
I know
him.
from Cheers, but I'm sure he's been in other things.
I know him from The Good Place. I love that show.
Good
And
Place. Oh, okay.
he is
Oh, that's
with
right.
Kristen Bell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Do you know what Cheers is? Have you?
I mean, I've heard of it, but I have not seen a lot of it.
And then someone else that I totally missed and didn't know was in there, uncredited though, because I didn't know until I was doing the research, was Richard Gere. He was someone who was on the TV screen. TV. He was on the TV.
Oh.
And he was an uncredited actor in this movie. And now I kind of just want to go back and see him on the TV. So that's how Richard Gere, how like really beginnings, I guess, if he
Yeah.
was just an extra on the TV. Anyways, moving past that, The Crate. So Hal Brooks and Adrienne Barbeau. And then They're Creeping Up on You. And I have no one listed there, and that's terrible because probably the main guy is like someone I feel terrible.
I think he's been in something, but I don't know.
Sorry,
I couldn't tell
guys,
you.
but there's some stuff there. Okay, so those are the stories. All right, so let's go ahead if you want to do it this way. Let's talk about Father's Day.
Sure.
Okay, cool. And so Father's Day, the little summary is it deals with a demented old man returning from the grave to get the Father's Day cake his murdering daughter never gave him. I mean, there's more involved in that, but so my likes, I loved Ed Harris dancing.
Yeah. Yep, me too.
It was so cute and silly. I don't know.
Weird.
I just loved
Yeah.
it. I liked Bedelia, the drunken
Me too.
aunt, and her name is actually Vivica Lindfors, and I wanted to tell you that she asked if she can improv that scene at the burial site, and to do that scene, she actually drew up or brought up thoughts about her relationship with her own father and her hidden anger at her ex-husband George Tabori. So she improvised that scene.
Not looking good, George.
The maggots in the zombie's eyes were Rice Krispies.
What? Okay. That's a great tidbit. That's a great.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
I wish I had known that before I watched it.
I know. I wanted to go back to see it, but I don't know if I want to go back enough to see it.
Yeah. I did a 48-hour rental, so.
So did I, so I don't think I have it anymore.
We'll just search for clips. We'll find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say about this little thing, and then we'll just talk about what we liked, what we didn't. That marble ashtray, which was obviously a major role, it's what she killed her dad with, is featured in all 5 segments of the film.
Oh shit! I thought I was about to hit you with a cool thing. I was like, I saw it later in one of them, but I only saw it in one. So like,
oh shoot! Okay, no, that would have been good because I didn't notice it at all.
Okay.
Father's Day, it's obvious she kills her dad. The lonesome death of Jody Verrill it's next to the cash box at the Department of Meteors.
Okay, right.
Something to Tide Over You. It is on the nightstand next to Richard's bed.
Yes, that's the one I saw.
That's the one you saw? Okay.
Yeah.
The crate is on the writing desk when Henry writes the letter to Wilma.
Ah, okay.
They're Creeping Up on You. The soap dish when Upson Pratt is washing his hands.
Oh, okay.
And I have the wraparound story. I don't even know why I said that. On Billy's desk when he first starts stabbing the voodoo doll. Oh, sorry, the wraparound story at the end. Yeah, it's on his desk when he the voodoo doll.
Interesting. Okay. So are we gonna go story by story?
Yeah, I thought that would be cool. It's not gonna be really long because they're short anyways. Like kind of like what you liked, what you didn't like, or everything you didn't like, or
yeah. So the first one, Father's Day, I thought was like interesting. Like I was like, Oh, what are we getting into here? I liked that other character too, like Bedelia's sister or whatever.
I
Like I don't
loved
remember.
her.
I know, yeah,
Like
she
the
was.
mom. Yeah.
Yes, we had started talking about like horror costume ideas, and as soon as they introduced these two characters, I was like, shit, maybe we should be Bedelia and her sister.
I am game with that. I did like both of those women.
They were interesting, right? At least like
Yeah.
because the one obviously murdered her. I mean, spoilers ahead, everybody. If you made
I
it this
know.
far, oops. don't don't
Sorry,
keep
guys.
listening. But you know what?
Yeah.
You've had ample time. This was what, 82?
Yeah.
Okay, you've had
Yeah.
enough time. Anyway, but I liked those two, and the other one just was so mysterious. Like I don't know, I just really enjoyed her character. But in the end, I was that scene at the graveyard was maybe like a little over the top for me, right? Like I was just like, okay, I don't know where this is going. But at least it was a quick one. You know, like I feel like of all the shorts or of all the segments, I should say, that one moved along, I thought.
Yeah.
And so I kind of thought it was funny that he came back from the dead, but I couldn't help but be like, why? Why now?
Yeah.
It seems like this has happened for
Oh,
years. I don't know.
that's something. I didn't write it down, but I remember reading it, is that whiskey in, oh shoot, I should have wrote it down. I don't know if it's Gaelic. I think it's Gaelic. I don't remember. But it means water of life. And they thought maybe that had something to do with because he came alive when she knocked her whiskey bottle
Oh,
over.
okay.
But you're right. Like, why now? Why this year? Um, I mean, I know it's just old school, but why didn't anyone run? Like, why didn't anyone?
Yeah.
Like when he fell in the grave and he just literally laid there to his death.
Oh my
You
god, I
know, like,
know. For like 18 minutes, he was like,
yeah,
oh no, what's happening to me? It was like just looking around. It's like, roll over, bro. Like,
yeah, just fast, go fast. Like, and
yeah.
then the guy was there and he's like, ah, and he's like, oh, and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I thought of you with all the fog. I was like, oh, I bet Tawny hates this fog because you mentioned the overuse. One time, way back in the day, you mentioned something about overusing fog machines.
Did I?
I
I don't
do. You're the only one I talked to about this. I don't remember. I don't remember when or where, but you had mentioned something about overusing fog machines.
I talked about being able to see how you could see they did the fog in Antichrist because it was
Mm.
digital, and that was like sort of weird. But I don't hate an overuse of fog. Let me just set
No,
the record straight. That didn't
I
bug me at all.
thought you mentioned something about, and if anyone's listening and they're like, "Oh yeah, I just heard that episode where Tawny says overusing fog machines," but
I could have
maybe I
forgotten
dreamt
also.
about it. Maybe I
May-
dreamt it.
Maybe. You know what? I have very mundane ass dreams. I have dreams that I'm like, I wake up in the morning and I think happened because it's like just normal shit. Like I'll have a dream
Yeah.
that I'm like, oh, I was, talking with you and I told you that my dog did X, Y, and Z. And it like confuses reality with my dreams because it's so fucking boring. Every once in a while I do have crazy dreams, but
Yeah, that happens to me too. And I think
okay,
this is a case in point. I think I dreamt about you telling me you don't like fog machines, but
maybe. I just
um
again, let me just clarify. I was talking about Antichrist and how the like effects were all like practical and really awesome, and then I was like, they all held up except for the fog. You could see the fog
mm,
like mask around her hair as she was like moving around, and so I didn't love that. But like, yeah, fog as a thing itself, I have no problem with.
okay, so Tawny's cool with fog. We're good
Totally cool.
there. Totally cool with fog. Yeah, but overall, like, I liked the characters, and that was that. And I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. You're just sort of like, all right. that's
Yeah.
that's how that first one leaves you.
Yeah, exactly. All right. All right. I liked Ed Harris dancing. The next one, The Lonesome Death of Jody Verrill. So this is based off Stephen King's short story Weeds. And Jody Verrill, played by Stephen King, a dim-witted backyard yokel, thinks that a meteorite landing near his farm will provide enough money from the local college to pay off a 200 bank loan. Okay. So I'll just share with you.
Yeah, go first.
Some fun things. As a joke, Stephen King took his son to McDonald's during filming, all made up in bruises and scars, and the McDonald's lady called the police on him, because I forgot to mention, the boy in the very beginning sequence is his son.
Right.
Yeah. So, did I say that?
You did not, but I knew that.
Oh,
So
I
sorry.
was like, whoa, my mind's really going. I drink like this memory tea and like, wow. Yeah, Joe Hill, Joseph Hillstrom King, or Joe Hill is Stephen King's son. So,
he looked familiar, so I looked it up. I was like, is that a little baby Joe Hill? Like, yes.
So that lady called the police on Stephen King. And in there as well, there's a sign leading to Castle Rock, which is, Stephen King's fictitious main town.
Oh, I didn't
if you
catch
noticed
that.
Okay. When they were showing at the very end, when they were talking about how there's going to be a lot of rain and they show the street, they had that sign there.
Oh, okay.
And then Stephen King had an allergic reaction to the makeup he wore, all that green stuff. And so he was subjected to shots and medication so that he can work through the unbearable, or so work could be bearable.
That's dedication.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
All right, so this grossed me out. I don't know. I don't like mold. I don't like the word. I'm just going to say it the only time. Spores. Like, I don't like it. I don't like it. And when it was growing on his finger, well, first of all, when he looked at his finger and it had burned and there was all those bubbles, I hated that. And then the stuff was growing on him. It was just growing and growing. And there was mold everywhere. That grossed me out. I hated it. I also hated, and I love you, Stephen King, I hated that overly dumb acting.
Yeah, it was over the top for sure.
It was way over the top. There were moments where he was more mild, but still you got the idea that he was kind of like, dumb.
Yeah.
But I liked it. But then he was, and I'm talking about him looking at his eye, like his eyes always did this cross thing, or when he drank his beer and he went like this, and he was almost like a caricature. And I didn't actually like that at all. I did laugh though when he kept going to the doctor, and I thought that was like silly. It made me laugh. Like not the doc. Yeah,
like the bank person or whatever they were.
What was the bank person? Then the bank person was the doctor. Then the doctor was the college guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny, but yeah, that was my take on that.
I thought this one was pretty good too. Like I think of all of them, this was maybe my second favorite. And part of it is because of the comedy. Like I got the comedy of it, and I thought it was like kind of funny, and it was like over the top in a way that I could digest. I agree he was like over the top, like way over the top in some moments. He was a caricature of like this like backwoods redneck dumb as rocks. Dumb as a box of rocks is what my grandpa would say, my papa. Dumb as a box of rocks.
Yes.
But for some reason that like landed for me, so like I could take that one. And I also liked the story of it. Like I like the whole something from outer space that grows and takes over. I like that plot of it, and so it was funny. And I agree, I liked the scenes of him going back and forth. I actually liked Stephen King in this because I feel like it was just surprising to watch him act, right? And then for him to do something so bold, to be so over the top, I was shocked about, because I've watched like interviews with him and stuff before, and he just seems very like even keel. And so maybe that's also why I was cool with the over the topness of it. That I was just like, I have never seen this side of Stephen King in my life, and it's interesting.
I think that I had gotten a little bit of that. I read his book Stephen King on Writing, which was excellent, by the way. And when he used to be on Instagram, would follow him, so I kind of thought he was kind of like that kind of guy.
Okay.
I think it was I really liked the character and the premise. I loved it when it broke and he poured the stuff and he's like, ew, meteor shit. I thought that was funny, but it was just some of his movements with his eyes and his,
Yeah.
some of that I was just like, if it was just toned down a notch, like still I get you want to be extra. I get it. But like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I
Just
get you.
some things he was doing, I was like, okay, I get it. You're dumb. You know what I
Right.
mean? I get it.
Message received. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then at the end, like I thought that all of it was really, yeah, it was gross, which it's supposed to be. So that was really good.
Yeah.
All right,
I
cool.
like that one.
All right, moving right on. Something to Tide Over You. All right. So this is based off the Stephen King. He wrote The Ledge. And so that's what this
Oh.
was very, very similar to. Richard Vickers, a vicious, wealthy, and ruthless man whose spry jocularity belies his cold-blooded murderousness.
These words, dude.
Yeah, whatever. Stages a terrible fate for his unfaithful wife Becky and her lover Harry Wentworth by separately luring them out to a secluded beach property and then, at gunpoint, bring them up to their necks below the high tide line. Below high tide line. Okay. So, want me to do the facts? Leslie Nielsen. And so this is, when I saw him, I was like, oh, he's going to be... Like, this one, I didn't see the comedy as much.
Yeah.
The first one, the characters were a little, and obviously the second one, Stephen King, he was, a caricature. I can't even say that word. But this one, I didn't see the comedy as much. But Leslie Nielsen had a fart machine that he would make go off randomly right before the director would yell action. Because he's like, I know him as, being funny, but Ted Danson had his little girl on set when he came back from the dead, like that swamp monster. And they were trying to keep her from seeing him. And she saw him and she walked up to him and went, oh, hi, Daddy. And then
Cute.
The last thing is there was an alternate ending, scripted and then rewritten for this. And so for this extra ending, I always like to hear different endings and think about that. But for Something Over the Tide, two policemen are dropping by to investigate Richard's panicky but true claims of Harry and Becky invading his beach house as monsters, right?
Okay.
And when the policemen laugh at his story, they think he's drunk. Richard attempts to prove this by showing them camera footage of both undead stalkers. But instead, the television plays his incriminating conversation with Harry before and during the latter's burial by the sea. So Richard protests that he's been set up and that this is the wrong tape. And then the policeman says, oh, it's the right tape, all right, pal. And speaking of rights, and then the film smash cuts to the to Richard's murder trial, and he's convicted and sentenced to death row. And then another cut finds Richard in the gas chamber, laughing hysterically, even while his life is choked out of him, saying, I can hold my breath for a long, long time.
I fucking like that ending way better than the actual ending. That's a way better ending.
That's a good one.
I agree. Way better.
I'm glad you said that because I agree.
Why did they get rid of it? Do you know?
I don't know why they got rid of it. It didn't say. So if somebody knows, let us know. It didn't say. It just said alternate ending was this.
That's so much better. I'll tell you why they didn't go with that. Because they didn't get to make an actual, monster. Right? That's probably... They were probably like... And I'm not saying this is a bad stance to take, but they were probably like, oh, if we do all of that, we're not utilizing Tom Savini. We need to get him in here to do, more, monster makeup type stuff. But that's the one part of this story that I didn't love, was that they physically, it's debatable, but they had a lot of shots of them physically being there, torturing him. And that was the one part of this story that I could have done without. And I felt like this one, though, still was my favorite of all the ones.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm glad that you like that ending, though, too. There's something, nice about that ambiguity that you never see them, but they fucking somehow from the dead mess with his plan, and he ends up paying for what he did.
Yeah. Yeah, because I love that. I agree. So this one, it gave me a lot of anxiety. So this was one that had a scary element because that being buried up to your head and not being able to move your arms, that's terrifying. Um, and yeah, I
Yeah,
really liked Leslie Nielsen in it.
I
I
did too.
thought that he did a good job as a villain and like a likable villain. You want him to get caught. I didn't like that the monsters killed him and buried him up to his head, but I wish they would have done the gas chamber.
Me too.
Yeah.
That seems like way more, I don't know, like less on the nose, right? Like it's like this
Yeah.
isn't really on the nose. And but I agree that I liked him a lot in it, and I felt like it wasn't funny, but there was this like dark comedy to this one that I appreciated.
Yeah.
There were some moments that I couldn't help myself but giggle. But it's like a very dark, segment with him like murdering these people like in a
Yeah.
really fucked up like
Really bad
long
way.
way. But I this one was my favorite of all of them.
Oh, nice. Nice. All right. I did. I liked it. All right. So let's move on to the crate. So a college janitor, Mike, drops a quarter and finds a wooden storage crate marked Arctic Expedition, June 19, 1834, and hidden under a staircase containing a multi-fanged ape-like creature. Obviously, there's a lot more to that. The few little things I have about this is the on-set nickname for the monster in the crate was Fluffy. The creature's creator, Tom Savini, was the shorter garbage man featured near the movie's ending.
Okay.
So when they had those two garbage men that were total pricks, like above and beyond pricks, um, he was,
Yeah.
yeah, he was the shorter one. Originally, the remains of Billy came out of the crate when it was underwater and it broke up, but they deleted that.
Okay.
And in a possible homage to John Carpenter's, I'm sorry, I don't know why I can't speak today. The Thing, set in Antarctica, the crate discovered in the third segment has shipped to Julie Carpenter from Arctic Expedition. That's what it says on the
Oh.
crate.
Okay.
So, uh,
You go for it. You talk about
okay,
this one.
I'll go first. Um, so, I, um, it was fine. Like, I don't know. Like, okay, there's the monster. Okay. Um, the wife was despicable. She did a great job being despicable. Like, we were all hoping that he would lure her to get
Really?
eaten by that
Okay.
beast. Yeah.
In a very weird way, I was like, I fucking love this bitch. I love her. She's my favorite character of the entire movie. I know she was rude and terrible, but like I don't there was something about her. There was just something about her that I was like, I like her.
Okay, I felt that way about Bedelia, I think, and her
Yeah.
sister. I really liked them. Yeah, her, like, I hated her in a good way. Like, that's what she
Mhm.
wanted. She was just so obnoxious and she was so mean to her husband all the time that I was actually hoping that he would lure her there and get her killed, which he did. Um, I don't know.
This one was so weird. It was so long. It felt like the longest fucking segment of all of them.
It was really long.
And I was like, just fucking get there. Like what is happening here? We've got this that's how they open is with this like obnoxious wife thing happening.
At the cocktail party, and everyone's like, oh my God.
And then there's just like a lot of stuff happening. And then there's this like side situation where the other guy like maybe meeting up with other women and
Yeah,
the
like
other guy like
young undergrads, and the other guy just looks up to him maybe and is embarrassed by his wife.
oh, right. And then we've got like a janitor who like somehow drops a quarter that he really is concerned about and like finds his crate. Like it all just was like very this one was probably honestly my least favorite because it just felt so like I don't know, dude. There was like too many characters, it was too much happening and it took so fucking long to get to where we were going. And it just like didn't make a lot of sense. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. This
It
monster's in
seems
this box, and
very disconnected.
yeah, like I don't even know what to really say. I can
Yeah.
say the two characters featured in the film, Tabitha and Richard. So the new professors at the faculty reception at the beginning of the fourth segment of The Crate. So you have Tabitha and Richard. They were named after Tabitha King, which is Stephen King's wife, who he loves very much, and Richard Bachman, which is his ghostwriting name, Stephen King's ghostwriting name. So
Oh, okay.
just
Okay.
something. It's something. It's not like I wasn't going to blow your mind or anything, but
Yeah.
okay.
Trivia.
Just a tidbit. Okay, so we both feel the same about that. So,
Let me just also defend why I like this woman. I think it's because they made her out to be such a like wild caricature of it almost felt like okay, here I'm formulating this as I'm saying it out loud. So
okay.
forgive me people. I haven't thought this through, but this is why I think I liked her. Is she's like the weird epitome of like a nagging wife slash girlfriend that like a man wrote in that character.
Oh,
You know what
that's
I
good.
mean?
That's a good
Like,
point.
and so in a way, like I liked her, and I was just like, fuck yeah, fuck that guy. Like I have no reason to think that other than the fact that it felt very like I don't. It felt very like I think I have been that girlfriend to other people in their
No
view.
way.
You know what I mean?
No way. Dude, she was so obnoxious. So I think I didn't like her. Okay, wait. I liked her as an actress because
Yeah.
she made me not like her, right? Like, I didn't not like her because I thought she was over the top or anything like that. She did a good job making me not like her. I think I've been in a relationship before where the person I was with embarrassed me with their
Okay.
behaviors. And so when that happened, I was triggered, I think.
Okay.
I was
I think
like,
I was also triggered in an opposite way.
I can't imagine you being like that, going around and just being totally obnoxious to everybody like that. Maybe. I
I
don't know.
mean,
Maybe there's some things I don't know.
I would say like I'm generally not an obnoxious person, but there was definitely a handful of years there where I was going to parties and drinking a lot, and I'm sure I was fucking annoying. Like I'm sure,
Oh, yeah, me
you know.
too.
And
I
so
used to
she's
get into fights.
okay.
So I'm sure I was too, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that first scene when she's like at the party and everybody's like very buttoned up and she's like obviously drunk and just yelling and she's like, everybody calls me Billy or whatever.
Yeah.
I just immediately felt like, okay,
A
I
kinship.
identify.
You felt a
Yes,
kinship
I
with
felt-
her.
yes, I did. She was obviously an awful person and the things that she said to him were terrible. But again, I think like
Yeah.
it's like this
Terrible.
male's idea of a nagging wife that was written into this like archetype fucking character that I just in a weird rebellious way I was like I
I
get it.
like her. Nice. All right. We're moving on to the last one. I hope that people are enjoying this episode.
Me too.
So we're as I'm going through it, I'm like, oh, geez. Hope people aren't like, wow, guys, I need to drink before I listen to this episode.
Yeah.
But the last one, they're creeping up on you. So Upson Pratt is a cruel, ruthless businessman whose mysophobia, fear of germs, maybe it's mysophobia, but it's fear of germs, has him living in a hermetically sealed apartment outfitted with electrical locks and surveillance cameras. And there's cockroaches. So
That very much sums up this segment of this movie. There's cockroaches.
there's cockroaches. Yes. Okay, so there's lots of cockroaches and they take over everything and it's super gross. Like, cockroaches are gross. But Ray Mendez, an entomologist with the American Museum of Natural History, and David Brody provided 20,000 cockroaches for the segment They're Creeping Up on You. And in the final scene of the segment, in which the room is almost totally filled with cockroaches, many of the apparent insects were actually nuts and raisins.
Okay.
The cockroach...
Cheaper.
Yeah, well, The cockroaches were the most expensive part of this entire movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Stating that the cockroaches cost 50 cents a piece and they used more than 250,000 of them. So 20,000 of them came from this guy I just told you about, but 250,000 of them, which was a grand total of $125,000 on cockroaches alone.
Oh my God.
So originally, my last thing, this story takes place in a lush New York apartment. But that would have been unworkable with all the cockroaches. So they changed it to be that sterile environment. And cause I wondered about that. When I saw that guy's apartment, first of all, the whole time I thought he was in a business building. I thought
Me
he was
too.
like at his office, right?
Me too.
Until the guy came to his door and was like, "You got cockroaches, mister? You suck," whatever that guy's name is, and they kept showing their mouths all,
That
in the
part was
peephole.
very weird.
So weird. I thought for a second, oh, I bet that guy, the doorman or the apartment manager, I bet he's putting the cockroaches in there because of how he was taunting him, but that wasn't the case. But I wondered, his apartment was so weird. It was a sterile office building, but that's why, because there were so many cockroaches, it was going to be difficult filming them, I guess, in, a normal lush apartment.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I see why they got to that point, but I was very confused. This one, I just started falling off. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was like looking at my phone and shit. Like, I was so bored by this segment, I couldn't even fucking hang in and watch it. So I'm sorry, but I think I got the gist. It was like this asshole guy had got cockroaches and he hated them, but then he died. That was like this whole segment. I was just like, what is happening?
I have to say, okay, so this one grossed me out the second most because I hate bugs.
Yeah.
I hate cockroaches. So I thought them all bursting out of him I actually had to cover my eyes for the first time in this entire movie. Like, when there was no cockroaches and then you just knew and you could see his face moving, I covered my eyes because it grossed me out so much. And then that whole room full of cockroaches was gross.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
I think overall, my favorite was the Stephen King segment. It grossed me out. I liked the story. I love Stephen King. I keep thinking of his fingers when they got burned and all those bubbles, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I wish I never saw that. And I think that was my favorite segment, and I think the second favorite of mine had to been either Something to Tide You Over or Father's Day. Just because I liked Ed Harris. No, Something to Tide You Over, because there was so much hokey stuff too about that other segment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that I'm just flipped with you. I think I liked the Stephen King segment first and then the Something to Tide You Over. But overall, Tawny, what would you rate this movie?
I have thought so long and hard about this.
Me
because
too.
I'm like, I know it's a big deal. I can appreciate the gravity of it being like a cult classic, but I'm going to give this bad boy a 2.5 because I was pretty bored watching it. But on the plus side, they definitely hit like a cool thing that they were trying to do with the comics, calling back to that. They did a great job of that. A lot of the effects, well, I think all of the effects that I can remember right in this moment were practical. That was neat. You've got some really famous names. I got to see, um, what's his name? Stephen King act for the first time in my life, so that was cool. But I was bored.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I apologize to everybody out there.
I don't feel bad because it's a fan pick. So
What's yours?
I kept thinking, do I like it more than my than my lowest rated movie, which was Sleepy Hollow?
Okay.
Do I like it more? Would I want to watch it again? And so I gave it a 3, which is what I gave Sleepy Hollow.
Okay. On par.
Yeah.
You know what what else I'll say, like, overall that I liked about this movie is it did feel it. Okay, this is another one of those situations where it like gave me nostalgia about something else that came after it, which I know is so fucking backwards, but it did make me sort of feel like I was watching something very loosely related to Treehouse of Horror Simpsons episodes, because they're like such, little episodic
Yeah.
horror type stuff. So I liked that. It I got a little hit of nostalgia for that, but I mean, also overall this movie, the only note I wrote down was this the plot of each of these pretty much is all just assholes getting murdered. Like, it
Oh
was
yeah,
just
that's
like
true. That's true.
people getting their comeuppance. Like, that was like
Except the
the
first one.
yeah.
Because the dad was clearly such a prick.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah.
prick, Tawny.
He
And
was a
he
prick.
was
He was a prick.
smashing his cane, and like obviously all of those people have some personality issues being brought up with by a prick like that.
Yeah. He was not great. But also, like, she murdered him, and so he was like just coming for his revenge, Like,
Yeah, but I can't say he deserved it. Not in real life. In real life, you can't do that shit. You can't say, "Oh, I don't like someone, I'm going to kill him," and you
right.
shouldn't do that shit. But in movies, he deserved it. He was a dick.
So, okay, that one's maybe debatable, but it is like that
But
person
you're
did
right.
something
It was
bad,
revenge.
and there was something that came after that. The only story
Except,
that's not like that.
I know.
Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna Jordy.
Yeah, Jordy Verrill.
Jordy Verrill. He was just a nice
Okay.
dumb
Just lived
guy
a simple
trying
life.
to make money.
Yeah, pay off his $200 bank loan. Exactly. That's the only other one that's like not like that. And so I was like, on some level, I'm like, we're just reusing the same base thing like over and over again. So that, I think, was also aiding in my boredom.
Yeah.
I don't, and we've talked about this before. I don't like watching things that I can't identify with somebody. I don't like shows where everybody's an asshole, or movies or whatever. Like, I have to want to root for somebody, and I think that's honestly why the Something to Tide You Over is my favorite segment, because I fucking really liked Ted Danson and I wanted him to like succeed and live. I don't know. And I liked Jordy
Yeah.
Verrill too, right? Like, he was like just a
Yeah.
guy that
was a bummer that he couldn't get that shit off him.
yeah.
I would have done the same. That's gross. So
Yeah.
gross. I don't know.
But those are,
I gotta stop thinking about that one.
You do. You have to put that one away.
I have to put that one away. So I guess it was really good,
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me that that was your favorite for that reason. Like, that one definitely
Just
affected you the
bothered me.
most.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, please give us another opportunity to share a movie with us. I hope you enjoyed this. One thing though, with me and Tommy, I really don't know what's wrong with me today. But I'll figure it out. One thing with me and Tawny is we're going to be honest and transparent, and we're not going to bullshit you. And so you can really vibe with how this movie landed with us just by listening to this episode.
Right. And good for you. If you like this movie and you love it, great. Like, the thing is,
and I get it. I get it.
Totally.
If you do. Yeah.
It's campy. It's funny. Like, that's why I gave it a 0.5 above what I thought I was going to give it. It's just because, like, it's fun. They're like poking some fun. They're having some jokes. They're having fun making this thing. So that's why but like, would I recommend somebody who's never seen it watch it unless they were like super, super horror fans? Like, probably not.
Yeah. When I did the research and realized it was a horror comedy, I was like, oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, they meant it to be that way.
Funny. Campy. Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I wonder how long this episode is. Like 20 minutes, but thank you so much. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. You have no idea how much Tawny and I talk throughout the day about how much we love this, and all of our listeners, all of our subscribers. We see all of the comments and the reviews, and we totally fangirl.
Yeah.
over all of these things when we see them coming through. So remember, you can find us at Two Chicks and a Horror Flick anywhere in the world, except Twitter, which is Two Chicks HF. And can I tell you something funny really quick? I think it's funny. When I was attaching my Instagram account, for some reason got, unattached. So when I was attaching back to Twitter, I couldn't find us. And it was so frustrating because I was putting Two Chicks AF.
You did that last time too.
Yes.
Two chicks as fuck.
Yeah, I cannot stop. And I was like, what the hell's happening? I know that I created a Twitter account. And then it's like, oh my God, Felicia, it's Two Chicks HF. So Two Chicks HF. And then anywhere else you want to find us, TikTok, Facebook, all those places, it is Two Chicks and a Horror Flick.
Yes.
We have a Patreon. Okay, go.
No, that's exactly what I was just about to say.
Then you say it. You say it, girl.
Is that we launched our Patreon. So we would love for you to go check out what we have over there. We have some exclusive perks for you guys to become patrons, and we're really excited about that. And we have our whole horror community that's set up through Patreon on Discord. So come join us over there and check it out. And
we legit want to do the stuff that we put that we're going to give people in the subscriptions. Like, we can't wait to do the stuff. So
totally.
Check it out.
Like,
check
honestly,
it out. See if you want to be involved.
It. Yeah, we're doing it. So it'll be there for you when when you want to. So
like me and Tawny have so much fun in that community.
By ourselves.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Oh, we have that private Facebook group too. So you can see us there.
Join us there.
Yeah.
Let us know. The other thing that I want to just say real quick, because I thought this was very funny today. I somehow just happened upon our podcast page today, and
Apple Podcast page, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Apple Podcast page, because that's what I use to listen to podcasts. And I messaged Felicia because I was like, which one of your friends or close family members left us this review? Because this is obviously a plant. And she was like, I don't know who that is.
Yes.
So I want to read you now this review. And whoever you are out there who goes by Trillionaire Barber, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our little dark hearts for this review. Because I didn't even think it was a real review. I was like, this is one of your friends. Or I even asked Jade. I was like, Jade, is this you? Did you secretly create an account and go put this review on there? He said no. So, and I'll just jump into it. He says, seriously, I'm assuming it's a he. I don't know who this
Why
person
are
is.
you assuming it's a he?
I really shouldn't. They.
Well, barber, but there's female barbers. So anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. So they said, seriously, the best podcast. They're so entertaining and funny and just overall so interesting. They do their research on the horror movies, so they include super interesting facts. I could listen to them all the time and still laugh. If you haven't yet, I would totally recommend it. My favorite podcast by far.
Dude, okay. She sent me that and I was like, I don't know who that is. And wow. So a little secret about me and Tawny, because we're real AF. I'm never going to get our Twitter name right now. We save these types of things. Like, we save it in like a little folder in our Slack thing, because you have no idea how much that means to us. It means so much when you guys leave reviews and you share how much you like the podcast, or even what we could do better. It just means so much to us because this is our passion, and we're kind of just, we're putting it out there and we're hoping that people like it. So when we read stuff like this, oh my God, it's like,
I know. It's so nice. So thank you so much, whoever you are, Trillionaire Barber. That's a great name, by the way. And to that, in relation to that, if you like this podcast, please rate and review and subscribe and do all of those things wherever you're listening to us.
There's all kinds of things you could do everywhere you're at.
Right.
Whether you're following, subscribing, reviewing, whatever.
At some point, we're going to come up with a script for this, but we just haven't yet.
We love it. I kind of, on all the different platforms, I kind of wrote out in our little thing, followers, subscribers, members. Wherever you're at, you know what to do because you're there. And we really, really appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening and being on this journey
Oh,
with us.
yes. Before you end it, though, what are we watching next time?
Oh, yeah.
Because we
Okay.
changed it up.
I felt like I was forgetting something. Thank you.
Yeah.
So next week, we're switching it up. We
Mhm.
originally planned on doing Pet Cemetery, the original, which was the second like listener pick for Flick or Treat. But I added the new Pet Cemetery, so we're gonna do a Pet Cemetery head to head because I feel like I cannot talk about the original without talking about the remake. So
And that was good because I never seen the remake.
yes,
So we're gonna do a head to head on Pet Cemetery.
yes, and
All
I
right,
am pumped.
I'm ready for it.
Yes. So I think that that wraps it up. So have a good night. No nightmares.